everybody, welcome back. I wanted to just do a short little read. Happy Mother's Day to those of you that celebrate. Also sending love if it's a hard day, because for some people this is actually a very hard day. So anyway, let's start with, I got present energy, challenge, and advice. And I won't clarify too much, I'll keep it concise. Okay, so for the present energy, this is interesting. We're getting something about power. This could be like a resistance to your own power, feeling like your life choices are not your own choices, that you're not like in the driver's seat of your life. But to be there, it means taking on like more leadership and taking more responsibility, which can be harder, right? Because it means that you're gonna have to face some of your fears and insecurities, or you're gonna have to upset some people, rock the boat. Yeah, because on this card it says, the prophetess of true power. I call back my power from all times and places. I am my own. My own. I'm telling you, I feel strongly here. You feel like your choices are not your own, that someone else is like controlling your life choices because for some reason, like you're indebted to them, or they do things for you, or you're financially dependent on them, or it could be a relationship, it could be a job, some authority issue here. Okay. For the challenge, we're getting 10, this is interesting, 10 of Pentacles with the sexual energy card. So it says sexual energy is sacred, Isis, goddess of magic. My pleasure is a prayer that brings me back to life. But I'll tell you what came through right away when I saw this. The 10 of Pentacles is a card about legacy and wealth and like long-term stability. And immediately what was coming through right here is like the archetype. And I don't mean like sex workers. I mean the archetype of the prostitute, where you have to like sell yourself short in some way, sell out your dignity, degrade yourself, betray yourself, something like that in order to get a need met. It's an archetype. So in what ways have you been possibly using your remember, sexual energy, sex, money, power, you guys. Sex is very powerful. Your sexual energy is the type of thing where it can be used for like really beautiful, pure intentions, and it can be extremely magnetic, and it can increase your life force, and it can make you very radiant and draw a lot of things to you. However, the shadow of that is using your sexual energy to seduce people, to manipulate people, to get what you want. And it happens all the fucking time. It happens, like I said, all the time. People go insane for money and sex. Like they lose their minds, they lose their livelihood, they lose their lives. Like people are cuckoo over sex and money. That's how powerful it is. And so where have you been potentially using your sexual energy in a way that's getting a need met, but it's also like you're sacrificing something? Let's clarify. Okay, under the deck we're getting the 6 of Swords in the reverse. There it is, King of Cups. I knew this card was going to come up. King of Cups in the reverse. I'll tell you why. And then, wow, the Ace of Swords, King of Pentacles upright, and then the Fool in the reverse. It's like you know you need to take a leap of faith here. Somebody's feeling, again, you might be getting some material needs met. Okay, King of Pentacles, again, a legacy card, a wealth card. Like, again, this is like taking on a job that you're fucking miserable at, but it pays the bills. Or you're like an entrepreneur and you're taking clients that you don't align with, that don't feel good, but you're like, but I need the money. Or you're in a relationship and you're like, I don't love this person. We don't have intimacy, or I don't, like emotionally I feel very discontent, but for some reason it's really stable, or it's my comfort zone, or everyone else seems happy, so I'm settling, but I'm emotionally extremely unhappy about it. I'm not emotionally satisfied, romantically satisfied, sexually satisfied. Especially with it coming with the sex card, you guys. You could be in a relationship that's sexless, but you get your needs met in other ways, or it's really financially stable, or like I said, apply it as it relates to your life. But it's a misuse of sexual energy somehow, or there's some type of issue, a challenge going around with that, particularly as it comes and relates to your needs being met. Okay, so, and I feel like you're clear, because this came before the King of Pentacles, right? It's like you're clear that stability is important to you. Of course it is. Like, it's important for all of us. We need to get our basic needs met. But I feel that you're clear that like The material side of things might be okay, but the emotional side of things is not, because I'm pretty sure these were flanking the Ace of Swords. And therefore, the only way out is through, but that would require that you take a leap of faith that you haven't taken yet. And part of the reason you haven't done it is because for some reason it's been easier to like play the victim, or to be like, I'm powerless, I don't have a choice, I'm up against the wall, my hands are tied. But are they? No, obviously not. Like, you've always got a choice. It's just to make a new choice would require also some kind of sacrifice. So what's the advice? The advice is the Four of Swords. I'll clarify that too. Four of Swords, which is about taking a pause. The advice is to reflect a little bit. It's not to just, maybe it's not to just leap off the bridge, but that doesn't mean you don't need to take a leap of faith. It's just like, it seems that you need some clarity, or you need to reflect a little bit on your knowing that perhaps financially you've gotten things in the material realm, but how have you gotten them? Have you had to misuse your sexual energy? Have you had to seduce a person to draw them in to get your needs met, and then you regretted it later, like, shit, now I owe this person, or now I feel really gross, or now I have a lot of shame, or now I feel like I owe this person? I mean, how many, like, this happens to all gender women and men, or whatever, but you know, a lot of women do end up, for example, in relationships with a man that they're not in love with, and they feel sexually indebted to them, or they feel like in order to have a nice lifestyle, or to live in a nice house, or to have money, like, I'm gonna have to like be intimate with a person that I don't want to be intimate with, but I want the lifestyle more, so I'm gonna sacrifice my happiness, or my, you know, my intimate needs, or my joy, my pleasure, to have a Birkin bag, or like to live in a nice house, or whatever. Maybe it's not even that nice, it's just like you have all your bills paid. But again, this happens with men too, who are with women who are really wealthy, or whatever. Like, the woman is the provider, and the man is then almost emasculated if it's not a healthy relationship, and yeah, it gets all twisted and distorted. So, okay, it's coming with Mary Magdalene reversed, which is also for me a card that relates to sacred sexuality. The Magdalene Manuscript, which is by Tom Kenyon, the Alchemies of Horus, which are tantric meditations using your sexual energy, and the Sex Magic of Isis, because in the book, Mary Magdalene was an initiate of the mystery schools of Isis, which is directly correlated with sacred sexuality practices. So there's definitely something here. Like I said, it feels like the prostitute archetype of selling yourself out in order to get needs met. And why would you do that? And why would you continue to choose that? And to get to the root of that pattern so that you can dissolve it, so that you, like, because you don't have to choose that. You don't have to be selling yourself out to get a house, or to like have money in the bank, or whatever. But for some reason, that's what's coming through here. So I just want to clarify those two for the advice. So with the Four of Swords as the advice, what else do we need to know here? Another card about money. Do you see how he's like handing money out? And to me, this is like a card about equal giving and taking. But it looks like they're kind of begging, and he's just handing them these shillings or whatever. So the advice is that there is a lesson here around giving and receiving, but doing that in a way that feels like it's in integrity, where you don't have to sell yourself out to receive, is what I'm hearing. And death. Like, there has to be an ending of something here, and a rebirth. There has to be some type of deeper transformation around what? Page of Wands, Two of Wands reversed, Five of Swords. There has to be a transformation. Like, you've got to like communicate your needs a little more clearly, or your vision. Like, I feel like you have to like speak up. You might need to say something, or take a little action step towards what it is that you desire. But you definitely have to get off the fence. Like, this guy is standing in a castle, okay? There's one wand that's literally chained to the wall, okay? And then he's holding this globe, this world in his hands, which is like infinite possibility. But there's still a part of him that's chained to this security, or to this past history. So you've been avoiding probably making a choice But because you know that it will hurt some people. Not like, you might get what you want. Like this guy has a victory. But it's bittersweet because there were other people involved that also were hurt in the mix. But remember, your situation is also a result of your karma. So like, if you made decisions in the past that had these mixed intentions, where it was like, yeah, I'm gonna, like, for example, be in a romantic relationship with a person, and I'm gonna like use my sexual energy to like hook them and get them interested in me because I want something from them. But in doing it, you knew that what you were doing like wasn't right. You knew that there was a part of you that was totally out of alignment, particularly if you weren't like in love with the person, or you felt emotionally or intimately misaligned, but you were like, but I'm gonna get something that I do want, an opportunity, a leg up, money, security, something like that. Well, now you're experiencing the result, a ripening of those karmas over time has turned into like you then needing to make a decision where also people will get hurt. Because like, in a way, when you made this choice, whatever this was, it was hurting you. And if you weren't honest with the people that were involved, then this has grown over time, because the more that you participate in that behavior, the more karma you're accumulating. Your mind there are patterns being created around you sacrificing yourself to get needs met, or lying, or deceiving, or doing something, again, manipulative in some way to get a need met. And now you've got to face the consequences, which sucks, right? And then it's like, shit, to get myself out of this situation, now I'm going to have to be honest, or I'm going to have to deal with it and confront it, but then other people are going to be hurt. And maybe it's even collateral damage, not the person directly involved, but the other people in the peripheral, like children, family members, other people somehow. Let's get one more oracle card there on the advice. Yeah, this is the card of Mary of Nazareth. It says, I am blessed, my courage gives birth to the divine. But my courage, like this, whatever it is that you need to do, now you need to be courageous, because you're going to have to face some uncomfortable truths, or some things that have, blossomed as a result of your previous choices. I'm hearing collateral damage. That's the word I'm hearing. So it's like other people in the mix are going to be disappointed or hurt, but it's like, there is no way to get a new outcome without that happening. And again, that's just the way karma is. In my system of Buddhism, karma is the movement of mind and what follows, and your intention is everything with your karma. So like, those things accumulate over time, and karma expands. The first law of karma, like creates like. Any experience you're having right now, especially if like, again, to have what you need or want, like other people are going to have to be hurt or damaged in the process, is because that is a result of a like cause from the past. Some seed that was planted, again, a mixed intention. You did something, but you knew it was wrong, but you did it anyway, or it was hurtful, even quietly, but you did it anyway. And now it's grown, because karma expands, right? And you don't get a result without a cause. And if the cause is always similar to the result, whatever you're experiencing right now came from somewhere. It didn't come from nowhere. It came from you. So that's the taking responsibility. That is the hardest part, I think, of all of this spiritual growth, is to like completely own your past choices, especially if they were kind of shitty or kind of insensitive or very hurtful or whatever. And that's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up, but you've got to correct course. You got to course correct somewhere, or you're not going to get a different result. Yeah, there's a lot of anxiety here. Some of that anxiety will go away if you make a decision. Yeah, but again, you've got to make like you've got to like be honest, and you've been avoiding being honest. You've probably been playing games and pretending and doing a whole lot of other song and dance to avoid this conversation or decision or whatever it is that you have to do that's going to like disappoint some people or hurt some people. But we'll just get an oracle card for like an overall message here. I want to keep this like short, so let's get one more. What do we need to know? Are these reversed? No. Okay. We're getting the card about destiny and free will. So this card, Oren Mila, it basically says that there's two things happening right now. Some of what's going on in your life were conditions that you were born into. So if you were born into a lifestyle that you struggled with money, maybe your family was very poor, or you grew up and there was a lot of like scarcity, then some of those things you were born into, it was your karma, right? You were born into that. But then some things that you're doing or have done were your choices that then created this like timeline. But it's like you can make a new choice right now that will set you on a new course, and you can change your destiny in a way, right? Like you can't do everything immediately because things also take time to unfold. But essentially it's saying like not only are you not powerless, but like every choice has been like a domino. Like it's like if I didn't go to like the place I went to have coffee earlier and I went to like a different location, then I wouldn't have seen a certain person at that coffee place. And then if I hadn't met that person there, something else, blah, 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 right? That's how life is. It's just like these series of synchronicities and events that then one thing links to the next thing. So what the card is saying is that basically you can change your destiny right now, and even just one choice is going to set things in motion in a different direction. But you're not powerless, and not everything is laid out for you. There are factors here that, like, some things needed to play out in a certain way. Actually going to get one more. But it's like you have a lot of power to change the course of your destiny at this time. It's just that you're going to have to make a choice. And it's like part of you doesn't want to make the decision because you know it's going to be hard. But then it's like you're not powerless either. Okay? And then we're getting Ganesha, which is the remover of obstacles. Underneath is Eros with the piercing his heart. Definitely relationship challenges here. But what does the Ganesha card say? It says, the problems you're facing have solutions. Oh my God, listen to this. Step into the role of leader and use your power to overcome your obstacles with logic and transformational power. He's known as the remover of obstacles. All right, you guys, that is crystal clear. It says, look at the challenges that cross your path as opportunities in disguise. A crisis initiates a new phase, readying you to release the old and fortify the new. Obstacles arise to provide chances to create. Use them as a springboard to bounce into more powerful timelines. I was literally just saying that. Problem solving is evolution in action. Your challenges are your fodder for growth. So it's not about being compliant with the negative in your life, but embracing the undesirable to utilize and elevating your circumstances. Yeah, use your challenges again as the springboard for growth and to get you into like a new timeline. But again, if you're like, oh, I'm just a victim of circumstances or I have no power at all, no matter what, even if you have problems, it's like challenges are not always a bad thing. I'm really feeling that here. You're at a point where you've created a situation where now there's going to be some conflict in order to move forward. But again, you're seeing it as failure, and it's actually not just an opportunity for growth, but like you created this as a result of all these other choices. So when you take responsibility for it, instead of pretending like you have no part or your hands are tied, you're against the wall, you can't make a decision. No, you can make a decision, and you can take a leadership role. But again, you've got to face the music. And I feel like it's that. And you probably got to face shame. Because I'm feeling like there's some shame here, particularly around your sexual energy and how you've utilized it or sort of misused it, and who's been kind of hurt maybe along the way or will be hurt when you make a new decision. But you can have a life that you want. I feel you can have a life that you desire, but not without taking ownership. And like I said, for some reason, this Five of Swords is really sticking out to me. It's really sticking out as in, you have to understand that, yes, even if other people are hurt in the mix, like, it doesn't mean that it's the wrong choice to make either. I just want to leave it at that. All right? That's it. So if you guys are not on the membership waitlist, I've got a new membership coming. It is more exclusive. It's by invitation only. There's an application. Like, it's very specific. because it's like mystery school. So you got to be ready to receive those kinds of teachings. But I'm going to drop the name, etc. this week. So get on the wait list if you're not already, because that's the only way that you're going to get an invitation and an application. You got to be on the wait list. So do that. You definitely want to be in there if it's the right fit. And then if you want to work one-to-one, the link for that is also below. Otherwise, I'm sending you guys so much love. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.